Hey guys, this week we've got a great topic that's going to be a lot of fun, a little bit lighter and just entertaining. And this week we're going to be talking about, I paused because Heather has no idea what we're talking about, and she thought the intro would give her some sort of a hint, but it's not. So stay tuned. You stay tuned too, Heather.
Rude.
Hey, I'm Rusty.
And I'm Heather.
And we're the Bryants, and this is the Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
We are here to encourage healthy marriages, strengthen wounded marriages, and begin the process of restoration to broken marriages.
We aren't licensed counselors, but we are a redeemed couple that loves the Lord and wants to help you journey through this messy, challenging, and fun part of life called marriage. Hello, folks.
Got to stop.
I love it. I love it. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant. We are excited about being back with you. Really fun topic today. Aren't you excited about it?
No, I'm nervous.
Okay, so full disclosure, Heather has been, she's in the middle of a class for biblical-based counseling, biblical-based counseling degree. From a seminary, and so she has been trying to get some classwork done so that she can go out of town. And so it just kind of hit us, and I was like, you're not going to be back in time for us to do a podcast. And so we're recording this a little bit earlier than what we normally would, and I just knew that I couldn't burden you with a topic. Plus, it don't matter. You don't even think about it. You're just like, let's just chat it up. So we're just going to chat it up today.
I wonder if there's some people out there that are like, oh, I love when Rusty does it because there's a point A, point B, point 3, all those things. And then other people who are like, I just love when Heather's kind of in charge because it's just all over the place.
For sure. That's why we work so well together. Last week, we did the, you read that dissertation from the from that book, and I commented about my friend or our friend up in Virginia, and sure enough, the next day he sent me a text and he said, "I got to be honest, I put Heather on 2x speed while she was reading."
Fine.
I was like, "Well, it still took 10 minutes."
Did it really take that long?
It was 5. It was a 5-minute read.
Really?
Yes.
I've got some more for you when you're ready.
I'm gonna pass. I cannot handle somebody reading to me.
In retrospect, I probably could have summarized it.
Oh, geez. Now you say. Now you tell us.
But I just thought all of it was so important.
It was good. I listened. I had my eyes closed, but I was listening.
And you always listen to our podcast again. Did you listen to it again?
Yeah.
On double speed?
I hit 30 seconds skips through that.
Rude.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
It's fine. My feelings are not hurt.
Yeah, they are.
A little they are.
But maybe everybody else liked it. I don't know.
Great. Now you're inviting other people to slam on it.
No, I mean, we had really good download numbers this week, so I guess it was fine. Okay, so today, Heather, we are going to be talking about romancing your spouse. Now, the reason for this is this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a little bit light, but it's gonna give some encouragement and help to you. But the reason why I started thinking about this a lot was 2 reasons. First of all, I don't know where everybody, people listen to this literally from all over the world. Which, by the way, we had a cool conversation. Well, actually, I saw that you had a cool conversation with somebody in Sweden. You probably didn't even realize it. It was just sort of thrown in there, but I thought that was pretty cool. Y'all talked a little bit through Facebook, but anyway, I had to go back.
When you type, you can't tell accents.
No, you couldn't. But I think she actually said that where she was from, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, there are people all over the world. So some people aren't going to get this part of it or why we were thinking about it in this way. But around here in Mississippi, it is football season. and high school football is a big deal in Mississippi. It is in the South. And so a part of that is homecoming. And so our youngest son is he has a girlfriend, and it's getting time for homecoming. And it is a big deal.
It's
like asking the your date to homecoming, like it's become this,
like you can't just say, do you want to go
hey,
to
you want to go to
homecoming?
the right. It's become this big kind of production, and of course social media has made it that way too. But you were talking to me about it tonight because you got to go out of town. You were telling me I needed to help a little bit with some of this, which no problem, because I am the king of romance. So you laughed really loud into this microphone. So I started thinking about it, and like I just wanted to ask you what you thought the whole inviting the date to homecoming and stuff, the way they do it, the big production. They got to have something creative. They got to think of something special, something memorable, something that can be on social media, all
Something
that kind of
on
stuff.
a poster.
Yeah, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Tell me what you think. I sure hope we're on the same page here.
I mean, you did not give me any time.
No,
well,
you didn't
and
think.
the reason why I'm like, is because I feel like there's pros and cons.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I think,
And this is we're talking about this because this is springboarding us into talking
yes,
about romance.
the topic is not high school
right.
homecoming.
That's right.
It just is getting us there, I
Yep.
guess. Okay,
Yeah, you
so
don't know.
I know.
Okay,
well,
go.
this can't be the topic. But I do think there's pros and cons. I think that it does make a girl feel special. It makes her feel valued and wanted and all of those things when a boy goes to those lengths to invite them somewhere. But I also think that it very, very much sets them up, not them, their future spouse for failure. Because if you're making such a huge, and I mean, our son's fixing to do that. So I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying if you make it such a huge deal, just asking them to a dance, there's nowhere to go from there.
Okay, yeah, that's good. We're sort of on the same page. So, so one of the things that I thought about does it create too much pressure? Do you think?
For the girl to say yes?
No. More for the boy to
Oh,
have to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you just say, hey, do you want to go to the dance? Then you're a failure
Yeah.
because you didn't do it creatively.
Yeah. So I did actually. So I mean, you know me. I've got a few little notes that
Sure
I took.
you do.
And one of them actually I put down, it sets them up for failure. So that is a con because it sort of just sets this standard, this, of a romantic that they may not really be. So,
Nor
to
should
have,
they be at 16.
right.
And you know that out of all of the people, 90% of it is probably coming from their parents.
Yeah. However, I will say there is a balance because I love that it makes them actually think about being creative and romantic.
Sure.
Because
I agree with that.
and that's why, if they have parents that are willing to help in the right way, not because, I got to make sure my kid does it the best, that kind of thing. But genuinely, if the mom and the dad step in and say, let's think of ways to be creative, then it can set them up for at least thinking about creativity, romance, for the rest of their life.
Sure.
And so as I was thinking about it, I know that this day and age it is a little bit out of control. But if it's done right, I do think that, like I said, it's a good teaching moment.
Sure.
So I started thinking back to our dating days, and to be honest, it wasn't different. It wasn't different. We just didn't have social media.
Right.
We did, and there wasn't this, the post. I mean, it wasn't like this almost strict, like there's got to be a poster involved, and
Yeah.
But as far as like dating,
Mm-hmm.
like I set some standards
Mm-hmm.
that, so throwing this out at you, this is putting you on the spot. But what were some of the most, and they don't necessarily have to be when we were dating, but either dating or, engaged, married, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the things, like the romantic things that you remember that we did?
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is when you ask me to marry you.
Okay, let's just don't go there, because
Okay.
we'll tell that whole story, because we can do the condensed version.
Okay. So another one that stands out is when we went to we didn't go to homecoming. I don't think it
Yeah.
was me and you that went to homecoming.
We went to
Okay.
a homecoming.
Where we had dinner on the roof
Now
of the church. That was fun.
was right.
Yep. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just did, and of course this was a group date, but we just the guys did dinner up on the roof and had people serve dinner and all of that, and that was super fun.
Yep.
Picnics, those are fun.
Mm-hmm. We did one at one of our teachers' land. He had this pond.
Yeah.
It was kind of out in the country, and we set up, and he helped us.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I remember that.
our history teacher,
Yep.
and he helped helped us set it up, and then we went and had dinner there.
Yep. That was fun.
We did one in the courtyard at the
Mhm.
at the church, and had our dinner set up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? About it, huh?
No, no. I was trying to think of big things. I mean, like I think of little things.
But there were posters and stuff.
Yeah,
because
like I'm the candy one. That's what I was fixing to
there
tell.
you go. Okay, good.
Yeah, that was super fun. Like you, and I don't know if it was just I'm thinking about you, or if you were inviting me to something,
I think
or
I was
what.
inviting you to something.
But you filled in all the blanks of a story with candy,
Candy
like
bars.
candy
bars.
bars or names of candy.
Mm-hmm. I think I actually had the candy bars on there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if they were all candy bars or just different types of candies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think. Candy bars.
But the actual candy was on the poster. Like for example, I can't think. Like where you did the millionaire thing, or whatever.
You're worth $100,000.
Yes,
to me, or
thank
something
you,
like
thank
that.
you, thank you, thank you. Where you have the different candies. That was super fun, and I remember that. You also wrote a lot of notes
Mm-hmm.
and letters to me that were super fun. I mean, like those are things that I, don't want to forget.
Yeah. Well, all of that I do think also led up to me wanting to make our engagement like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that as these kids are learning that,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what it's teaching them, to be ready for something like that. Because, that's one of those things that I do think, an engagement, you can do it without spending tons and tons of money, which a lot of people do and really go overboard. But you can do it to where it's memories and things that you'll never forget. And I think that ours was.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll tell a quick. I've been wanting to let people into our lives to hear our engagement story anyway. And this is another reason why I decided to do this one today, because our engagement was in 1995. Holy moly. That was 27 years ago. This month. So September the 12th, because you have a little trinket, which was part of our.
You said a little trinket. All right, Papa.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, it's like a little jewelry box.
A little jewelry box.
Okay,
It's a
it's
trinket. But anywho, so who's telling the story? I probably should, because you're not even going to remember it all.
No, I would remember it, but this is what would do the whole time. Oh, no. But
That's because I spent, you lived it,
the story.
but I spent.
And I'm not going to interrupt you.
I spent forever planning this thing. So we went to the same college here in town. Both of our parents lived here. And so we went, it was just a weeknight. And that was part of the plan, too, that it was just kind of going to be. We had dated for almost 7 years, or it was, I guess 6 years at the time. So I knew that as soon as it started, Like you knew what was coming. So there was no way to really surprise you. So I had already in my mind thought, okay, well, this night's going to be this huge night. But from the very beginning, you'll already know what's happening. So, but the surprise part of it, we went to my parents' house. We were going to go out to eat. That was the plan. There wasn't anything special about it, but we were going to go out to eat. So we went to my parents' house to wash clothes. And as we were washing clothes, a limo drives up. So you see the limo. And, of course, I knew it. You knew that was what was about to happen. So we got in the limo. I wrote a poem that I gave you. I was going to read it, but I just think our listeners are so tired of hearing us read.
Gosh.
No, I just couldn't put them through it again. I couldn't have our friends putting us on double time while I read the poem. So anyway, it was a poem that just basically it had a lot of highlights of our dating, and it had little things that were like inside jokes and stuff like that. So you read it, obviously knew what was fixing to happen. So we go first. It was almost like a little scavenger hunt. So we went first to the church, and we went out to the little courtyard. We had sparkling grape juice, and we had a blanket, and we went out there, and you tell me if I missed something. We went out there, and we prayed together to start the night. And then we got back in the limo, and we went to one of our favorite restaurants that's no longer there, and it's so sad. Somebody asked me the other day if it was still there. So we went there because it was a Mexican restaurant, and we got chips and dip and queso. It was waiting on us when we got there, so we could get it and put it in the limo with us, and we could eat our chips and dip while we were driving around the limo. We had to get our money's worth of the limo. So we did that. Then we went to our favorite restaurant was a Japanese restaurant. We also had it to go, or I had it ready to go. So we go and get it, but we didn't eat it. So you didn't really know where we were going. And we drove, gosh, it was a lot further away than I thought, but it was cool because we were in a limo. So, but it drove us out to the reservoir, this big, huge body of water. We had some friends that had this almost like a little lake house, but outside it had this covered, screened-in, what was it? Some sort of a patio, little
gazebo, porchy thing,
and with a swing and stuff. And so when we got there, there were balloons and candles and a table tablecloth and stuff, and there was a gift on the table.
Now, I have to pause you.
Come on.
You're not talking about candles on the table. I'm talking about the entire gazebo was lit up with candles around the entire perimeter.
Big deal.
Big deal. Okay, keep going.
So,
if you've seen Grey's Anatomy, think Derek and what's her name?
I have no idea.
Starts with an M. Meredith. Okay, keep going. That's what it was like.
Okay. So, there's a gift. You open up the gift, and what's in the gift?
The trinket.
No, heck no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Before the meal?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I opened up a gift, and it was 2 place settings of the china, the everyday china that I had commented and said, "Oh, I love that china. When we get married one day, we're going to get that." Poppy's Own Blue.
Poppy's Own Blue. So yes, I had taken some notes, and
you did.
And you
Very
opened
impressive.
it, and
I hear a collective "aww" from all the ladies.
So we ate on that and enjoyed our meal, our takeout, Japanese, and then there was a fortune cookie.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell.
Yes. So there was a fortune cookie. I opened it up and opened the fortune, and it said, "May I have this dance?"
And let me tell you what, that was a challenge because you have no idea how many fortune cookies I broke with tweezers trying to get the old fortune cookie out to put my fortune cookie in there. And I used, my fortune, I typed it on a typewriter and cut it and everything. It was amazing. So yes, it said, "May I have this dance?" We had a jam box
Yeah, we
with
did. A
tapes
little
and
boom
everything.
box.
Little boom box had a mixtape going, but when it was time for us to dance, our song came on
Just you and I.
because it was a song that we recorded together at
Mhm.
Opryland in the studio on a trip. And
If we could find it, we could
oh yeah, it'd be
upload
great.
it. And
So we
would be fun.
danced to that, and then when we finished dancing to that, I did pull out the trinket.
Mhm.
Actually, I think you opened the box, and there was a little heart-shaped jewelry box,
Mhm.
and it had the date engraved on it.
Mhm.
And then inside the jewelry box was the
Was the ring?
ring. And so I got down on my knee. I asked you, and it's a good thing you said yes, because that was a lot of work I put into that night.
It was an amazing night
So,
with lots of fun little details.
yeah. So, a couple of reasons why we wanted to share that. First of all, I think a lot of people listen to us and they feel like they know us because we just tell them all about our lives and we're pretty wide open. But I just thought that would be kind of cool that people would be able to go, oh, that's neat. We know them a little bit better now. And so here's the part we got a few minutes, so we're gonna talk through romance now that we've kind of built up to this, and we're gonna just kind of address. Let's address three situations, three listeners. And we'll have a poem to go along with it. No, I'm just kidding. Three. It's going to be three. So here's one that we need to address. There's people that are listening out there, and they're going, my spouse used to be romantic, and they're just not anymore. So what do we do about that? Because here's the thing. I would say that I certainly set myself up for failure in some ways because dating, engagement, everything you've just heard, like it's hard to live up to that. We've been married for 26 years now. So I would say that I fall more in this category. So what do we say to people like me or other people that are just like, just not as romantic anymore?
Well, I know for me, the definition of what romantic has changed.
Sure.
Like I would be like, what are you doing if we went out and had
If a limo pulled
if
up?
a limo pulled up, I'd be like, do you know how much money that costs?
Could have got my nails done 5 times for this.
But like romantic to me now looks different. I mean, like I'm not exaggerating. If you were to say, hey, let's just curl up on the sofa and watch a Hallmark movie, that to me would be so romantic because it's putting my need, my desire, your thoughts for me above the needs of your own. And so honestly, like that would be so romantic to me.
Okay, you jumped ahead, but that's okay. That's
sorry.
okay.
This is why you should tell me what we're doing.
But we're on the same
Okay,
page.
good.
That's what makes it
Okay,
so
good.
good.
Okay, good.
So I would say this: if we're addressing the person or the couple, maybe we're addressing the guy that's listening, that's thinking, well, I'm just not romantic anymore. I've really dropped the ball here. Or the wife that's going, gosh, you used to be romantic, but you're not anymore. And so the encouragement both ways would be listen, communicate.
That's right.
Because you need to know what it is that makes your spouse feel special now.
Right. Because it may not be what you see on TV.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who love to get roses or flowers. Like that could be really important to somebody, but then to somebody else, it may not be.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge roses person. I love a good white daisy. You can get those for $7 at the Kroger and not have to worry about all the other things. But I would much rather you say, hey, why don't you go get your nails done? Or some, like, you have to know what makes your spouse tick.
Okay, so that's the first, addressing the first issue is the romance is not the same. It seems to be gone. You can get there by listening and doing what your spouse thinks is romantic now.
At that time. That's right.
So the other thing is, let's twist this around a little bit, because the other way about this is just what you described, because there's people out there that are like, well, I would love to be romantic to my spouse, but really all they want to do is come home at night and put their quitters on and sit on the couch and read a book. I mean, that's you. So, I mean, I'm just saying, but you just said that.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what you just said. So, for somebody like me that is sort of a romantic and has that, desire, there's a little bit of want, So I would actually say to somebody like you, because there may be people out there who's just like, I just rather sit at home. I think that every now and then you need to, even if it's a little bit out of your comfort zone, a little bit of, like you said, what are you doing? Like, I think you need to relive that a little bit because you have no idea how much fun it would be.
Right.
And fun for the person that's actually trying to do something romantic. Because there is a little bit of me that is like, man, I haven't done that in a long time, but I don't think she really cares that much. And so, if I were to, all of a sudden just kind of surprise you, so I'm addressing somebody like you, it would be go with it because it's going to end up being a blast. And you may not want to do it every week or every other week. It may be once a year, but you'll make a memory that you won't forget. So don't what am I trying to say? Squash your whatever, your
Smush.
spouse. Yeah, all of that. Okay, so those two things. Now, here's the other one. What about that spouse that the wife? I mean, let's be honest. This is probably just the wife that's going, my husband has never been a romantic and probably never will be, has no idea what to do. What would we say to that person? Why did your eyes get big? I have no idea. There's a part of me that thinks that person has it better than anybody because there's no expectation. They've never been set up. Now, if they start doing things romantic, their spouse is probably going to go, what'd you do? What is going on? But I just think that's a great place to be because it doesn't matter how long you've been married. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can start being a romantic. And so my encouragement to the one out there that's like, I've just never been romantic, and I don't even know how to
Why are you getting your country bumpkin voice?
Because most of them country bumpkins just ain't romantic. I don't know. I live in Mississippi. I just think that there's massive potential in everybody. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the big elaborate homecoming ask for a date. It's listen to your spouse, know what romance is to them, and start doing it. And if it is one of those things where your spouse really does desire something like on TV, a knight in shining armor thing, pick a day and just say, all right, I'm going to, and find some help if you need some help, but say, I'm going to do it and I'm going to make a big deal. And just because that's what she or he wants. Because, look, ladies, you need to romance your husband too in the way that they want and need to be romanced.
And when you can tell that they're trying, encourage. Don't be like, what did you just attempt?
Right. That was dumb. So I just think that every man has somewhere down in them this desire to romance their spouse. They just don't know how to do it, and they don't feel adequate. There's the John Eldridge Wild at Heart. Every man has built inside them. We have a beauty that we want to chase, and that's our spouse. And so, we may feel inadequate. We may not know what we're doing, but we have that desire. So sometimes it may just be that your spouse needs to say, tell you, this is what I like. This is what I want, Maybe we could do that sometime. It's a little bit of encouragement and communication. So
I like it.
Okay, well, was
Just you and I.
that fun?
Yes, it
All
was
right.
super fun. Way more fun than listening to me read.
Very true. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed a little lighter episode today. Hope you had fun listening, and we will be back next week. Can't wait to see you. Not really see you because we don't see you, but can't wait for you to hear us again. All right. Until next week. Later. Hello, folks.
Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, folks.